Was it unanimous, Chair? Number 1?
Yes.
Number 2?
Yes.
Number 3?
Yes.
Number 4?
Yes.
Number 5?
Yes.
Number 6?
Yes.
Number 7?
Yes.
Number 8?
Yes.
Number 9?
Yes.
Number 10?
Yes.
11?
Yes.
And 12?
Yes.
All right, sounds like it was unanimous verdict. Let's call questions. Can the clerk please record the verdict?
The verdict has been recorded, Your Honor.
Rapper Cardi B celebrating a win in civil court earlier this year. Remember that? After successfully defending herself against a lawsuit brought by security guard Emani Ellis. Well, that legal battle is trending yet again as the security guard is requesting a new trial. Although a jury sided with Cardi B, brand new mother of 4. In the first trial, Ellis and her attorneys are still focused on Cardi B's behavior. This time, in the request for a new trial, they're citing behavior outside of the courtroom as a potential basis for granting their request, including this moment we caught on our Court TV cameras where the Grammy Award-winning rapper threw a pen at a reporter in the crowd. This was an incident that Ellis's legal team claims where someone was pushed and injured. They state in their motion that Cardi B's actions were completely unlawful and disrespectful, saying that additional time is needed to determine if her actions were seen by the jury. But the tension runs way deeper as the attorneys have also filed dueling requests for sanctions against one another. What a hot mess this all is. Let's bring in Court TV digital content producer Lauren Silver, who wrote a fabulous article on it, by the way. Go to courttv.com to read that. Lauren, good morning to you. Let's start with these dueling sanctions, if we can, please. What's up with these attorneys?
They are bringing the drama. Apparently, Cardi B did not bring enough drama. The attorneys want to bring their own. So the plaintiff's attorney maintains that Cardi B's attorney, whose name is Peter Anderson, threatened him, assaulted him in the hallway during the trial. Anderson, in a response, points out that those hallways are filled with deputies and, frankly, our cameras, producers and reporters. So someone would have witnessed that. But Gianvanza also seems to think that Anderson is personally coming after him. He has been ordered to show cause. He did allegedly ask some questions that he shouldn't have asked during the trial on issues that were suppressed. And in his response, it's written almost as if Dobby the house elf from Harry Potter wrote it. He seems rather sad and pathetic. He confesses he is not, quote, a seasoned trial attorney. He says he's only tried 10 cases and says his future career path is to be a judge. So.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So we just backing the truck up. So the security guard's lawyer is talking about himself in a not so very flattering way, saying that he's not seasoned and he's only tried 10 cases.
Yes, he's only tried 10 cases, and he says that his law license is the most important thing to him, and he would never sacrifice it for any reason. And he says that this is giving him a significant amount of anxiety, and if the court would please give plaintiff's counsel the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, my. Oh, this is something, Lauren. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why you put those things in your motion when you're supposed to be arguing about the law, the facts, you know, instead. Not so flattering things he wrote about himself there. Okay. So the motion for the new trial, so kind of the lawyers, it's like two separate things are going on. The lawyers are battling, they've got these dueling requests for sanctions, and then there's the separate inquiry the court is going to have to take up as to whether or not this security guard should get a second trial. What can you tell us about this request, Lauren?
Right. So most of the issues that Gianvanza identified as for why she should get a new trial occurred during the trial, but outside the presence of the jury. So it shouldn't really be relevant. Again, the pen throwing was mentioned in his response. Anderson questioned, why would a member of the jury been standing on the courthouse steps with a press gaggle? That, of course, would not have been allowed by any judge. Similarly, any alleged assault in the hallways between him, a witness, and the other attorney, there's no reason the jury would have been in the hallway. So the reasons he cites aren't really grounded in anything the jury saw.
So that's a good point. That's a good point, Lauren. Yeah, this is really interesting. December the 5th, I understand they're going to be in court to make some arguments, and we will be covering that. Lauren Silver, thank you so much for the info. Let's dig in a little deeper with our legal analyst expert guest. He is a celebrity attorney. You saw him try and win the landmark case, Depp versus Heard. Johnny Depp's attorney, Ben Chu. Ben, good morning. Good to see you as always. All right, so let's start with the motion for a new trial, this request that Ms. Ellis's legal team has filed, citing the pen incident. What are your thoughts on how well that argument is going to do for them?
Well, good morning, Julie. Great to be with you. I think that Ms. Ellis and her counsel have violated the rule of holes, which is when you're in one, stop digging. This was a disaster for the plaintiff and her attorney, and they should just stop, because this motion has zero chance of winning and stands a real chance of annoying the judge any further than the judge has already been annoyed.
Excellent points. Ben, that's like one of the best quotes I ever heard, the rule of holes. Ben Chu, I'm going to have to use that quote of yours again and again. Of course, we'll give you credit. So the other thing they're citing with the pen incident, which members of the jury were inside of the courthouse, as we know, and that was the response from Cardi B's legal team, like the jurors weren't part of the members of the media. Then they say that they were unfairly surprised and didn't have time to depose the doctor and the nurse at the office where Cardi B was being treated. And I question that, Ben, because that woman worked in that building and would have known about these two potentially being witnesses. I'd love for you to weigh in on the validity of that argument.
Julie, I totally agree with you. I don't think it's legitimate at all. And I think, if anything, it's just exposing the lack of preparation by the plaintiff and her attorney. And you have the attorney making his own admission that he's not a seasoned practitioner. That's not an excuse. In fact, that's an admission. So I think this whole thing is frivolous. They should take their marbles and go home.
Definitely. Ben, tell me, with respect to the Cardi B legal team, obviously now what this plaintiff's lawyer is doing is putting this case back in the news again, and it's back in the cycle. People are talking about it. What response, if any, do you think Cardi B and her legal team should have for the members of the media who might be interested in what they have to say?
Well, I think they're really in the catbird seat. I don't think they have to exchange, tit for tat sanctions motions. As you know, judges hate sanctions motions. They won. They can take the high road. If I were representing her from a Brandon representation management perspective, I would just tell her to focus on her career, talk about her next album, saying that she stood up for principle and is moving on. I just think she's won. There's no reason for her to get back in the muck with this security officer who really her job was to protect Cardi B, not to bring a case against her.
So well said. Ben Chu, you're the best. Thank you so much for weighing in on this. We'll keep following it. December 5th is the next court date.